Dull Men's Club is a place in cyberspace where dull men can hang out and share their experiences with fellow dull men and women that appreciate dull men without worrying about being criticized. It's a sanctuary for people that enjoy the dull life. We got to thinking and realized that there are a lot of ordinary things that we enjoy about life, far from the mad crowds, far from the glitz and glam. We think there's another way to live, and that's just have a more ordinary life. Celebrate the ordinary is what we like to do. There's one gentleman we really admire here in the UK. It's Kevin Beersford. Kevin founded the Roundabout Appreciation Society and is very active with it to this day. He's published several books explaining with wonderful pictures of roundabouts and explaining their beauty. And Kevin publishes a roundabout calendar every year, with every month featuring a different roundabout. It's really a joyful thing to have hanging in your house.
Our society started back in 2003. I ran a small printing company, and each year we gave out calendars, and we wanted to come up with something totally unique. We was fed up of David Beckham and six-pack firemen and Jordan calendars. So we thought the town where I live, which is Redditch, what's it most famous for? And it was roundabouts. That's all we got going for us, if you like, in the new town of Redditch. To define a roundabout, they come in many guises. We have a lot of technical terms for roundabouts. We have Titchmarshes, which is an island in full bloom. We have the PMT, which is a painted mini traffic island. We have double curbers, red ringers, Greek islands, geek islanders. We have a whole glossary of terms. I see a roundabout as an oasis on a sea of tarmac. This roundabout here perfectly sums up that picture, if you like, because we're on a roundabout that's quintessentially English. The whole beauty of a roundabout is they're so expressive. You can put anything on a roundabout, and I've seen windmills, pubs, trains, boats, planes, cinemas, duck ponds, you name it, anything can go on a roundabout, and that's what makes them so special. I think they lift our sagging spirits on long, tiresome journeys with their infinite variety of colour and creativeness. I think to be a roundabout spotter, you have to accept that it's a bit of a sedate sort of hobby. It's almost got certain Zen-like qualities to it. I mean, if you suffer from a nervous disposition or got heart trouble, it's the perfect hobby for you. It's just to sit back and take in these beautiful pieces of round architecture. What could be a more perfect day than to sit on a beautiful roundabout such as the one we're sitting on here and just take in this lovely historical village setting in the village of Otford. Beautiful, perfect way to spend a day, a summer's day in England.
We find there's a lot of joy in just sitting on a park bench, for example, like here in this beautiful park right in the middle of London. It's a beautiful blue sky day, and you can sit here and look at some very nicely trimmed hedges. You can see some lovely flowers, and just sit back and relax and enjoy, watch the rest of the world go by. A while back we realized that there are a lot of things around us, everyday things, mundane things some people think are boring, but we started looking at them more carefully. Things like airport luggage carousels, a large number of appreciation societies, collections and museums of very ordinary objects, and it goes on and on.
The reason I got into brick collecting was because I thought really that it was part of our heritage, industrial heritage, that's gone by the board. I worked for 16 years at Rothwell Colliery, just south of Leeds. And when it closed in 1984, they decided that they'd make it into a country park. So I went down and met the foreman, and as we were walking round, I noticed all the bricks strewed around. And I asked him what they were going to do with them, and he says, oh, they're going to be broken up as ballast. I thought, well, it's a shame for these bricks to be sort of broken up because there were names of the brick makers on them. So I asked him if I could take some, and he said yes, certainly. So I took about a dozen, put them in the car boat, came back a few days later, took some more, and went down 3 times altogether. And when I got them home, by this time I'd picked up maybe about 40 different bricks with different makers, names on. Didn't know what to do with them, so I eventually finished up putting a path down and building a small wall here with the name showing. And it became a bit of an obsession. Some of the newspapers have got the idea that we've got 1,000. Where they got that from, I don't know. I mean, where would you put 1,000 bricks when you think about it reasonably? I reckon, I've never really counted them, but I reckon we've got about 150. Bricks are throwaway by people. When demolition takes place, there are still lots of bricks that are left lying about on the ground that nobody wants. So yeah, they are throwaway. But we live in a throwaway world, don't we, really? And someone comes along like me and picks it up and makes something of it, even though it might be our little tiny world where we've made something of a brick that otherwise would have been probably broken up to make aggregate for a road that's coming into a country park. Yeah.
One of the interesting people we've come across recently, at least is interesting for us, is a man who's collecting milk bottles. He has the largest collection of milk bottles in the world, and the collection continues to grow to this day.
As far as I'm aware, I have the largest collection of British milk bottles in the British Isles. My milk bottle museum, it holds approximately 17,500 milk bottles, which my children worked out was about 14.25 ton of glass, and it contains bottles from all over the world, but primarily British bottles. Like all collecting, you've got the dealers, you've got the people who collect for monetary advancement, but there are quite a few of us who are quite dedicated milk bottle collectors who collect them for their own sake. I mean, technically, 17,500 milk bottles are not worth anything. They're just glass, the most common thing on the planet. But to me, they're worth millions because they're my pride and joy. Cartoning milk, which is the current thing, whether it's a poly or the old wax carton, I have mixed views on it, really, because I don't like them. They're not really a milk bottle by any stretch of the imagination. But it's only the older generation now who would say that if you don't have milk in a milk bottle, it doesn't taste the same, because the people who have it in a carton don't know any different. But if you've had milk from a farm before, well, it's just been bottled, and it hasn't even had time for the cream line to settle, it's still a bit fizzy, that milk is so sweet. But when you've had fresh milk in a carton, it might have been fresh milk once, but regardless of what it says on the carton, when was it fresh? Where's it been? How many times has it gone up and down the country before they took it at the tanker, pasteurised it and cartoned it? My mission is to get every milk bottle that I haven't got. Well, I will never complete it. And in all honesty, I never want to. Because while I'm still looking, they're still out there and I'm still meeting people and having a great time.
Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Stop seeking the glitz and glam, the high life. There's a lot to be enjoyed just in slowing down, taking life easy, sitting on a park bench, watching the world go by.
One day is very much like another when you get older. I'm 78, as I say, Maureen's 75, and we've seen a lot of changes in our life, but it's going too fast. Can you all slow it down a wee bit? Because we certainly need it slowing down, we do.
You've got to have fun, you've got to live life a little bit, you've got to slow down, not take things too serious, look after your friends, go and see places. If you just stop dead and put your arms around a tree, daft or dull as it may seem, it makes life just a little bit more happy.
You know, I just love sitting on a bench like this. Take my time. You know, Time, give time time. Time is wonderful. Time is what keeps everything from happening all at once. Wouldn't it be terrible if everything happened all at once? There wouldn't be anything else to do.